A festival darling from 2020 has finally made its way to us and is now streaming on HBO Max. This is my review of The Fallout. We follow three teenagers who form a unique and dynamic bond as they navigate the never linear and even often confusing journey to heal and find their relationships with their friends, family, and even their view of the world forever altered. I know that description sounds very vague, but I want to be as vague as possible with this description. But before I get going with my review for The Fallout, I want to know your thoughts on it. If you've seen it on HBO Max, if you saw it last year during its festival run, anything and everything, just drop it down there. Start the conversation because it's the most important part. And if you like movies and TV, this is the place to be, so consider clicking that subscribe button so you don't miss any future conversation on your favorite movies and TV. And the reason I wanted to be very vague was because I went into this film blind myself. I knew nothing about it apart from the fact that it starred Jenna Ortega, and it came out last year on Sundance, and it only came out right now for everyone to watch. And this is a very strong movie. It really caught me by surprise. And again, I want to be very vague about what the actual plot and story is here. It follows three people as they try to recuperate from a tragedy. I don't want to get into what that tragedy is, but these are often the unseen faces, the untalked about victims. And it dives into the process of recuperating and getting over a certain situation in very interesting ways, where we follow this teenage perspective where their entire lives are already chaos. So when something like this happens in their formative years, we see the damage that is created, we see the repercussions, the ripples that come from that big rock dropping in the water that is their lives. And I found that the film dealt with this very compelling. I found it very unique and very rich, seeping with drama. Where we follow these people who are sometimes afraid to leave their room. They're afraid to just walk out their house. And they'll do stupid decisions like get drunk, maybe do some drugs, where they find this respite of hope for a sec, where they're distracted from everything. And so they become dependent on that distraction to just get through the day, to not think about what just happened and the repercussions of that. And we see these three very different perspectives, how these three different people deal with this situation in very different ways. And we have all these interesting points of view where the film is brave enough to ask these questions, to face us with these situations. But it's also adult enough, mature enough, and humble enough not to answer these questions, because every single one of these people is dealing with their grief differently. And how the film tackles each of their griefs very differently is what I most appreciate about this film. Not to mention that Jenna Ortega, as an actress, she is really building a great career for herself. She's just recently been on Scream, and now she's here playing these two very different roles, and she has not only to carry the film on her back, and she has such an interesting dynamic with the friends that she makes because of this tragedy that occurs, that, by the way, is handled so well, where it comes in like 10 minutes into the film as a shock, because I was not expecting it. And then you're just there witnessing the fear and experiencing these moments with these characters that you're going to follow for the rest of the film. And I found that very impactful. And she does a great job at carrying this pain and whatever she has to keep inside throughout the film so well. I was really surprised and keep on being surprised by how good she is and how good she continuously proves herself to be. And a lot of credit for how the story is told obviously goes to director and writer Megan Park, who allows you to experience a little bit of life with these characters before shit goes down. And you just see this immense contrast on our lead character Vada before everything happens and after everything happens, and our life just isn't the same, and it feels like this character is trapped. And I think that's so important to see how it doesn't feel like they can move on. And why can't they move on? Are they making the right decisions? Are they taking the right steps? And even taking the right steps, do they fully ever recuperate? Again, I touched a little bit upon this, but I think the film is humble enough to know that there's not an easy answer. Some people may do, some people may not. And I think it's important to see how just the three characters in this film, all of them take their own different ways and recuperate at their own different paces. And The Fallout takes an interesting approach where it's not the heaviest film on this subject matter that you will see because it's from the perspective of a teenager. It's a little bit chaotic here and there, where they don't fully comprehend the gravity and the heaviness of the situation sometimes, and even what they are going through afterwards. I do feel like The Fallout meanders a little bit through its second act, where it just leaves our characters just hanging a little bit, not knowing where to go, where I understand that that's how the characters feel and the film wanted to portray that, but the story itself was not doing much in those 15 to 20 minutes. So even the film only being at 93 minutes or something like that, I feel like it could and should have cut out that little portion, or at least have done something interesting and meaningful with it, while portraying how lost and just going through the motions the characters felt. The story itself could have done something though. But through the performances, through the great direction, intelligent approach at the themes, I think The Fallout does a great job at giving us important commentary and an important illustration on the fallout out of a tragedy. And it's certainly, at least right now, my favorite film of the year. I'm giving The Fallout a B+. Those are my thoughts on The Fallout. It's now streaming on HBO Max, so make sure you go check that out. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. It's a heavy subject matter, so I understand if you don't want to talk about this one, but talk about anything and everything down there. And remember that if you like what you saw here and you like movies and TV, this is the place to be, so click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future conversation on your favorite movies and TV. Thank you to my channel members Bruno and Stuart for making this video possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back very soon with many more videos. And so until the next one, love each other and love the movies.